with my MPP hat on, my office was inundated with emails after the Solidarity March from people who took seriously my words when I was talking at it. I explained to people that there are Black healthcare leaders who are calling for anti-Black racism to be declared a public health crisis, and calling for investments in like the Anti-Racism Directorate, making sure that is actually functional and working and providing support in community, calling for training to make sure that people know how to spot systemic racism and how to deal with it, making sure that certain reports are the recommendations are actually implemented instead of gathering dust on shelves. Like people are writing to my office and telling me to do that work, and so that is something that at the provincial level we're able to do. In this region, we have Black and Indigenous community members and their allies that are fighting for space, like actual infrastructure investments in having gathering spaces for Black and Indigenous folks. The municipalities can work on that. We've got the police here in Waterloo Region have spoken out publicly and said that, you know, they wanted to do whatever they could to support the people that were marching in solidarity for Black folks. And so they can, like, they can use their position of power and privilege and actually ask for, alongside community, the provincial changes that have to happen in the Police Act so that they can make some of the recommendations from like the Tulloch report and such come to life. They can do that. What we can't do is say, well, that's not within my sphere of influence. Like that's not within my purview. That's not within my power, which I think in the past, that's what's happened in government, right? Like everything's siloed. And so you as an individual go to get help to do something, you go to the wrong level of government. They're like, oh no, I don't do that. And then they send you home, right? And it's up to you to like make the change. I think we have to just start working with each other. It's not like I hear the same problem, the same kind of issues of racism come to me that are going to the city and that are going to the police. Like people are writing to all of us. And so let us come together, work together, and start to develop a plan to make that change. And that means sometimes I might have to write a letter to support the municipal government in their ask, right? Or the municipal leaders might want to write a letter with my support to the Premier or to the federal government so that those changes can happen. But for me, it always comes back to, you need to understand your sphere of influence, and then you need to have the courage and be bold and stand up for your communities, and in this case, stand up for Black folks and ask for the change from the level of government that can make that change, and say, you're gonna keep fighting for it. And that again would be unheard of. It's not necessarily the way that people do politics. But I think that that's also why people think it's so important to have different people in politics, right? Because I don't know what the system is. I don't see anything stopping us from doing that. So let's just do it. And then if we make the change, then everybody will look back at this and say, look at those people. They were on the right side of history, right? When they said we stand in solidarity with Black people and that we support Black Lives Matter, we know that Black Lives Matter, they actually did something about it. And I think that that's what we should be aiming for.